say, yeah, but just give me some proof that you're well integrated, that you speak the language, and then we can arrange it. No, it's not true. It were the rules from 2009. Finished. Nevertheless, what is still working at this moment, it's another kind of regularization. It's actually because there are 3 types of regularization. First, the campaign, not working anymore, is finished. But actually, the second type of regularization is called the Article 9 bis. And that's actually the very typical kind of regularization, thank you, which still exists today. And if you go to a lawyer today and he talks about regularization, is this kind of regularization he's talking about. Now, Article 9 bis, what does it mean? First of all, it's called Article 9 bis because actually it's the 9th article in the law for foreigners, and there it is written which kind of conditions there are to get regularization. But actually this Article 9 bis, this kind of regularization, you can only use actually in very, very specific situations. It's a very tricky thing. It's tricky because everybody can ask it. Everybody can ask it, no matter you just arrived 1 month, it doesn't matter, you can ask it. But practically nobody gets it. And that's a very tricky thing. At this moment, it's around 5% of the people who ask it who also get it. So 95% of the people are just refused. And why are so many people refused? It's actually because regularization at this moment, the 9 bis, it's based on 2 principles, and you have to prove 2 things. First of all, you have to prove that actually you're really not able to return to your country. That it's not possible for you to return to your country. That's the first thing you have to prove. And second, then you have to prove that actually you have a lot of reasons to get papers here in Belgium because you think you're well integrated. For example, you speak the language, you know a lot of people here, you've been working here before, you had papers before, you have kids who go to school here, all these things. Actually that prove that you're integrated. And that's a tricky thing because a lot of people can prove very well that they're well integrated, that they've been living here for a very long time, but they cannot prove that they cannot go back to their country. At this moment, Belgium is very strict on these things, and actually most of the time they say if you really cannot go back to your country, if it's too dangerous there, then actually you should ask for something else. You should not ask for regularization, you should ask for asylum. I'm going to explain it afterwards. But there also actually the rules are very strict. So actually at this moment in practice, because a lot of people still ask for regularization, the Article 9 bis, but actually in practice what we see is that most people who get still positive today, the only people we see who get positive today are people with Belgian children. How does it work? You're here, you're Nigerian, you meet a Belgian lady, you have a child together, the child is Belgian, and then actually your child has Belgian nationality. And that's still something which works to get the papers. Actually, a lot of other situations don't work anymore. And it really has changed a lot. Like 5 years ago, it still was a possibility and a lot of people asked it and a lot of people could get it. Today, it's not like that anymore. And it's very important to be very realistic about this because a lot of people think, okay, like, let's try it, let's go for regularization. And they're waiting like 4 or 5 years before they get an answer, and then afterwards it's negative anyhow. So that's number 2, regularization. 3 types. First of all, campaign, finished. Second, the 9 bis, which is very difficult at this moment. Number 3 sort of regularization is called the Article 9 ter. And why is it called Article 9 ter? Because it's the 3rd part of the law. And that's actually what is called the medical regularization. And actually medical regularization is a very special sort of regularization. Actually it means that if you can prove that you are first of all seriously ill, that's very important, you have to prove that you're seriously ill. A doctor has to write an attestation that yeah, he did an examination, you're seriously ill. And seriously ill really means seriously ill, like HIV, cancer, a strange blood disease, things like this. Having a cough or a serious depression doesn't count for Belgium, because they say a lot of people without papers have depression, and if we have to give papers to all the people who have depression, then actually it doesn't finish. So they're very strict on these things. First of all, you have to prove that you're seriously ill, and second, that's not enough, you also have to prove that in your own country, actually you can't get the treatment for this illness. Like for example, you say, okay, I'm very ill and I really need this special sort of medication, or I really need this special medical treatment, I need to have a machine who can cure me, things like this. And in my own country it's not available. If you can prove this, if you can prove these two things, then actually you can get papers. So seriously ill, and in your own country there's no treatment. Also a big problem there at this moment, it's also around 5%. So of all the people who ask for medical regularization, around 5% who actually get it at the end. Meaning, and that's the conclusion actually for the whole regularization thing, it's very difficult at this moment. It's very, very limited. And actually, it really changed a lot the last 5 years, and actually especially the last year. Actually, since Marie de Blok came on power, it really went very hard. And actually, she's very strict, and a lot of people get negative. Actually, most of the people get negative.
Someone there, they are to Jama is here. It is a boy to find to be a man. That's heading for forever first one, heading to be a grata. A Didicano, Snusica, and just say, I'm a dear, or much one way and said, a hope woman, or mooning grata. A mooning grata upon a boy, the fans who go out to groom and march it. My brother first had been on grata. To come one month, I brought some first on which will be on metro. That's the heading, it's the topic meaning an heading and 9. And then you have a father who penny from Western, heading now which you buy near to us. And then just all dresses, probably first one between young brats, I get not green. Heading, you beat the said regularization, the graduate setting. One crowd over first watch, I said, would debate to me as not green to church their point. Fancy heading before fancy heading 2009 almost a day organize a campaign here and so much maybe boy in farm and but I don't know to see an witching in the heading new but to see an new be Ohio and to the boy article 9 this and we say no just heading for specific situation the beat is said and if I'm saying idea which me actually said and when I just for 8%, 5% per anything, which me means and I'm saying, I don't know, said which me checks and you may be an answer to me, do you may be a bad stress and part. So I'm your man, and no heading, what's not boom hatchet, yeah, wetting up boom hatchet. And I say, even brand, and I say, you're wetting up boom hatchet and brand, so I am passing wetting up boom hatchet. Heading, why you grew my, why it is which me, I get you. Woman, one person way, almost said, oh, you're my woman. So be out to Cassan, be a which me, I how you do a crack, and ask which me at you. And as a fans article 9 tech, no see, be a fans and no, be a no lecture and be a way, and I say, I really do, you do also, I really do. Be a head and we near the doctors are, which me I walk, am I the winner, I sir. And I say they be a room, the boarding, I wish me to, and meet anything, who better swap, which we have walk. But meaning I know, and that's if it's a lady, or what they want, meaning I may be a she moved and say once. And the test says, the dear Nubian, Nadia, grew while you can stay here, the other normally let you jump. And so we said, so far, it never mind the mood to jump, let us say, and where we have said the one, as you saw their boy, and it's nearby. If they did, the young picture be film, Niding, or say my son, Niding, and the castle again.
What language is it?
Chi.